Next on the Rockbridge Report, breaking news from the Roger Stone case. We'll tell you how much prison time he has to serve, plus reaction from the sentencing today.
And then, our James Laverty covered everything at the 27th Mock Convention, from parade to prediction. He'll give us the science behind the historic pick for president.
And you heard about the possibility of winter weather. We'll show you exactly how likely that is in our updated forecast. And later in the newscast, today is a special day for all our furry friends. We'll tell you how to celebrate your pets and more on today's National Love Your Pet Day.
All this and more on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon. I'm Felicity Taylor.
And I'm Lily Mott.
President Donald Trump's ally, Roger Stone, was sentenced by a federal judge today, and the president had a lot to say about it. CNN's Daryl Forges has the details.
Roger Stone leaving the Washington federal courthouse with an entourage of supporters. The judge sentenced a Trump ally to 3 years and 4 months in prison, stemming from 7 counts from the Russia probe. Stone was also given 2 years probation in order to pay a $20,000 fine. During the hearing, Judge Amy Berman Jackson threw down a verbal gauntlet on Stone, saying, quote, "At his core, Mr. Stone is an insecure person who craves and recklessly pursues attention. Nothing about this case was a joke. It wasn't funny." As Stone's sentencing played out, President Trump took to Twitter questioning the fairness of the entire process. The president has been outspoken about Stone's trial.
I'm following this very closely, and I want to see it play out to its fullest because Roger has a very good chance of exoneration.
Federal prosecutors originally asked the judge for a sentence of 7 to 9 years. Attorney General William Barr and other top Justice Department officials later reduced the recommended sentence, prompting all 4 federal prosecutors on the case to withdraw. Through it all, Stone made clear he plans to appeal the sentence. I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
The 9th Democratic debate yesterday featured a new candidate. Former Mayor of New York, Mike Bloomberg, made his anticipated debate debut and faced attacks from all sides. CNN's Mary Maloney has the story from Las Vegas.
In the 9th Democratic presidential debate, the focus was on a first-timer.
I actually welcomed Mayor Bloomberg to the stage. I thought that he shouldn't be hiding behind his TV ads.
Former Mayor Michael Bloomberg seeing a rise in the polls coincide with a brighter spotlight.
We shouldn't have to choose between one candidate who wants to burn this party down and another candidate who wants to buy this party out.
Feeling the heat from his fellow candidates for his support until recently of stop and frisk.
He didn't get a whole lot done. He had stop and frisk, throwing close to 5 million young black men up against the wall.
Past comments about women.
A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg.
And all that campaign cash he's spending.
Grace, let me finish.
Bloomberg didn't hold back.
If he goes and is the candidate, we will have Donald Trump for another 4 years, and we can't stand that.
Beyond the new person on stage, Senator Bernie Sanders was looking for another win in Nevada to keep his momentum going strong.
We got more union support than you have ever dreamed of. We have the support of unions all across this country.
The debate was also a critical moment for former Vice President Joe Biden after disappointing performances in Iowa and New Hampshire.
NBC did a poll yesterday. It says Joe Biden is best equipped to beat Donald Trump.
Senator Elizabeth Warren also looking to reestablish herself as a top-tier candidate.
It's not a plan, it's a PowerPoint. And Amy's plan is even less. It's like a Post-it note.
In Las Vegas, I'm Mary Maloney.
The third showdown for Democrats is the Nevada caucus this Saturday.
The 27th annual mock convention ended in a way very few were expecting. James Laverty covered the entire weekend convention and has the story.
The Washington and Lee mock convention made an unconventional decision this year by predicting that Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders will win the Democratic presidential nomination. But there's a twist. W&L students say the convention will be contested. They believe Sanders will come into the convention with a plurality of the needed delegates. MockCon predicts that Sanders will then win the convention after picking up enough superdelegates on the second ballot to receive a majority.
And we ran different scenarios where Bernie does better, Bernie does worse, Bloomberg does better, Biden does better. We ran all these things, and not once did it show Bernie getting to the 1991 needed.
The MockCon political team concluded that 5 viable candidates would splinter the delegate votes coming into the convention. 2016's MockCon chair Andrew McCaffrey agreed.
I don't see another candidate gaining the momentum necessary to win the nomination before Bernie really takes it. The contested convention pick is a little out there, but MockCon probably ran all the scenarios. The math points this way. I believe in them. We'll have to see what happens later in the cycle.
The convention hosted several high-profile Democratic speakers. Former DNC chair Donna Brazile urged students to get involved in politics.
And we can decide this fall who is the best champion to take Donald Trump out of the White House.
The mock convention political team's members worked late into the night for several nights before settling on Sanders. They say Sanders would have trouble picking up superdelegates in an open convention.
It's well known that Sanders is not popular among the Democratic Party, so if it's a contested convention, his chances go down because he's not likely to get a majority of superdelegates.
Political team members said the Democrats would not take the nomination away from Sanders if he gets over 40% of delegates.
That would either lead to a third-party candidate in the general, or you would have an entire base either disassociate from the Democratic Party or simply not come out to vote.
Ohio delegate Ethan Fisher says there's still a chance that Democratic Party leaders could take the nomination away from Sanders.
The establishment wants someone who has money, can prove they can run a campaign, someone who can beat Trump in the general, and I think right now establishment Democrats and people on the right want that person to be Bloomberg.
Brian Alexander, a professor in the politics department, has confidence in the political team.
But this is a complex data project, and those are inherently difficult. I looked, though, to 2016. WNL got it right then, and it was probably as complicated. I think that if anybody's going to get it right, these guys will.
MockCon was super interesting. I had a lot of fun.
I know, and everyone's been talking about that phone call with the Sanders campaign. James, do you know anything about that?
I do. So I actually spoke with the MockCon political chair, John Harasinski, and here's what he told me. Okay. He was on a call with a representative from the Sanders campaign, and so that representative asked about the nature of the prediction and the political makeup of the school. He then asked how many Democratic socialists were in the room, and so the representative said they would get back to the MockCon team. When they got back, they said that Sanders could not speak to the mock convention. So we were able to get Iowa State Chair Misty Rebick of the Sanders campaign to speak to students. And then after that, the surprise, Lee Greenwood. I think everyone loved that. That was a lot of fun. And that was a great wrap for a great weekend.
Interesting. Thank you, James. Yeah. The number of coronavirus cases continues to climb, and health officials say it may be a while before a medical solution arises. CNN's John Lawrence has the story.
Liu Zhiming, the director of a hospital near the epicenter of this virus, died of the coronavirus Tuesday, according to the Wuhan Health Commission. The 51-year-old neurosurgeon is among the more than 2,000 people killed by the disease so far.
The patients who are ill are the ones who are at the greatest risk of transmitting the infection. When they breathe out, the air they breathe out is full of this virus.
There are more than 75,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus globally, and the World Health Organization says it could take at least a year to find a vaccine.
We can save a lot of lives through supportive therapy by testing the drugs we're currently testing and by getting everything in our systems working.
China is being hit the hardest, but more than a dozen Americans are infected and dozens more are under quarantine.
I haven't actually had physical contact with anybody outside of somebody, taking my blood pressure or checking my lungs with a stethoscope in 12 days.
The World Health Organization says this disease doesn't pose a threat as deadly as SARS or MERS, and that most coronavirus patients will make a full recovery.
My sense, and the sense of many of my colleagues, is that the ultimate case fatality rate is what we call it, the death rate, is less than 2%.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A group of students at Washington and Lee University who had requested an option to remove portraits of George Washington and Robert E. Lee from diplomas learned the university's response this week. The Board of Trustees announced yesterday it would keep the diplomas the same. In a statement, the board stressed its current efforts to explore the school's history and the important contributions made by Lee and Washington in advancing the school. Next in the newscast, we'll show you how the Rockbridge County Chamber of Commerce is trying to convince local students that they don't have to leave town to find a good career.
Earlier today, there was the possibility of rain and snowfall. I'll tell you more about that later on my weather forecast.
And later in the newscast, today is a special day for some of our best friends, pets. We'll tell you about this special Thursday for our furry friends. The area's Chamber of Commerce wants local middle and high school students to know that they don't need to leave town to find a good career. The first Career Fest connected employers with potential employees. Jackson Sharman reports.
The Chamber of Commerce hosted the inaugural Career Fest at the Virginia Horse Center on Tuesday. Businesses in the area talked to local students about careers they could pursue if they stayed here in Rockbridge County. Tracy Lyons helped organize the event. She says she wanted students to hear about the benefits to living and working in Rockbridge.
We have a lot of the careers here that they want elsewhere, whether they're thinking, I'm going to go to Northern Virginia, I'm going to go to a bigger city. We have those careers, but we also want to show them that we have that lifestyle.
High school senior Wes Jarvis wants to become an electrician. He's looking for an internship in the area.
This is where I grew up, and so if I could find opportunities here, that'd be great to kind of continue, because my family's all here.
Career Fest paid off for high school senior Haley Bowyer in 10 minutes.
Well, I got an application at the forestry department to do an internship this summer, so I already have a job lined up for this summer just by doing this.
Employers for companies representing 12 fields had booths at Career Fest. They included manufacturing, agriculture, and hospitality. Tourism Marketing Director Patty Williams says young people need reasons to stay where they grow up.
It's no secret that a lot of the kids leave the area to find employment and go off to school, so there's always a need for local folks to fill job opportunities.
Child Care Center Little Magnolias had a booth. Director Sierra Bradbury wants to get students involved.
We'd also like to connect with middle school and high school students on a level to where we could even potentially bring them in as volunteers or tutors for some of our after-school kiddos, and then potentially in the future give them jobs.
Rockbridge High Administrator Paige Owens says employers also wanted to interview people who are already out of school and can go to work now.
We were trying to come up with a way to serve our adult community as well as our students.
Lyons said the event was a success with both the students and the businesses. She said she heard multiple conversations about internships and career opportunities in Rockbridge County. The Chamber of Commerce plans on hosting the event again next year. I'm Jackson Sharman, reporting for the Rockbridge Report.
It was a little chilly today, starting to feel like winter.
I know, I think we actually just missed the snow. Sophia, do you know what the weekend's looking like?
Well, we've been in a little bit of a cold spell this week, but it's actually looking to warm up this weekend. Let's go take a look at our live shot. You're looking at a picture of downtown Lexington right now. It's currently 40 degrees with a low of 22 degrees. The barometric pressure is rather high at 30.37 inches of mercury, and the wind is pretty low at 3 miles per hour. It's pretty high humidity at 62%. Now, looking at our radar, you can see that all this rain and snow that was supposed to hit us is actually moving south and east and just missing us. Now, if we take a look at our regional forecast, you can see that everything is in the high 30s. If you look at Lexington, it's 39 degrees, Lynchburg 40, and Roanoke 37 degrees. Temperatures are looking to rise this weekend. If you look at the 5-day forecast now, on Friday we're having a high of 45 degrees with a low of 23 degrees. It's becoming a little bit more sunny, as well as Saturday with a high of 54 degrees and a low of 27 degrees. Sunday's also looking pretty nice with a high of 57 degrees and a low of 31 degrees. And unfortunately, on Monday and Tuesday, it looks like we'll be having some rain with a high of 51 degrees and a low of 45 on Monday. And on Tuesday, a high of 59 degrees and a low of 42. That's all I have for you today. Back to you, Lily.
Thank you for that, Sophia.
played the game.
Players have been giving their opinion about the Houston Astros cheating scandal. We'll tell you what the top players are saying and more. And later, our Sophie Kidd is live with the story of a pastor who is retiring after a quarter-century of service to a Lexington church. Lexington Presbyterian Church is losing 2 key leaders in their congregation after 25 years of service. Sophie Kidd has the story.
Pastor William Klein and his wife Deborah are retiring after nearly 4 decades in the Presbyterian Church. The two began their career as co-pastors at a small congregation in Danville, but have been at the Lexington Presbyterian Church since 1995. William Klein says he hopes to leave the church a more inclusive and tolerant place than he found it, and looks forward to retirement.
For more information on the story, visit rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. So, baseball season's coming up. I'm excited.
I'm really excited, and I'm especially happy that the Astros finally got caught for their cheating in the World Series in 2017, Catherine.
Well, as a native Houstonian, I'm not going to comment on that, but we'll talk more about the Astros later on in the sports newscast. First, we're going to talk about some NASCAR. Ryan Newman's crash during the final lap of the Daytona 500 on Monday has held the nation's breath. Newman has been at the Halifax Medical Center in serious condition since the crash. But yesterday, Newman was released from the hospital and was able to leave on his own power in the hands of his 2 daughters. In the world of baseball, players reporting for spring training are sounding off about the punishment handed to the Houston Astros. The punishment suspends the Astros manager and general manager for a year, fines the club $5 million, and deprives the club of their first and second round draft picks in 2020 and 2021.
I know how hard this game is. I know how hard preparing for this game is, and to see something like that, it's damaging to baseball.
I mean, it's wrong. I mean, every actor is wrong. It's just the message we send to kids out there. You know, the perfect world is, you know, when you do something out there, you get punished for it, you know. So a sorry ain't gonna help. You gotta do your time.
The club was caught cheating during their 2017 World Series winning season. The Generals track and field team is still celebrating a successful VMI Indoor Classic meet. Last weekend, the women's team claimed 3 of the top 10 spots in the 3,000 meters. Senior Nikki Doherty ran the 200 meters and recorded the 2nd fastest time in program history. The Generals will compete in Winston-Salem this weekend. The men's team registered 6 career bests at the indoor meet. Senior Shep Sims won the college pole vault event, leaping 4.45 meters high. For the first time in ODAC history, the men's and women's indoor track and field championships will take place over 2 days at Roanoke College on February 29th and March 1st. The men's basketball ODAC championship will begin February 25th. The Generals are currently ranked 3rd in the ODAC after defeating Eastern Mennonite yesterday. With a 15-3 record, women's basketball will head into the ODAC championships next Thursday as the #1 seed. Senior guard Taylor Casey broke the team's record for triples made in a season yesterday against Randolph after scoring her 202nd three-pointer this year. Sophomore soccer player Michael Nick was named the NCAA statistical champion for the most shutouts in a season. Nick broke the Generals program record with 12 shutouts this year. That's it for sports today. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much for that, Catherine. Today is National Love Your Pet Day. Take your pet on an extra long walk or shower them with tasty treats. And while today is a good time to show your pet some extra love, it's also a good opportunity to make sure their vaccines and medicines are up to date. So happy National Love Your Pet Day.
That's all for the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching.
You can stay current on news in the area by logging on to rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.